Get excited.
Come on, you guys, give it up for yourselves. You're at South by frickin' Southwest.
Louder.
Come on. Instagram Live, fire it up.
We are taking over.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful event. We want to thank MPAC Hollywood Bureau for bringing us together and the Doris Duke Foundation. Thank you so much to Sue Abedi and her entire team. And of course, to Zeba Rahman and her entire team at the Doris Duke Foundation. Let's give them a big round of applause for bringing this kind of programming. So we are defying invisibility today, whether it be by our voices, by our images, our thoughts. I want to start by introducing Asif Ali, who really doesn't need any introduction, but he's actor and comedian. Stars as Mirdar in the upcoming Onyx Collective Hulu comedy series, Delhi Boys. Asif started his breakout role as part of Olivia Wilde's film, Don't Worry, Darling.
What?
Other notable credits include Marvel's WandaVision, New Girl, Netflix's BoJack Horseman, and HBO Max's Wrecked. Give him a big round of applause.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
We only have so much time.
Hearing all this for the first time ever.
And to his left is Huda Ibrahim, matchmaker, featured on Hulu's Muslim Matchmaker.
Come on, streaming right now.
Where she helps shine a light on the diverse experiences of Muslims navigating relationships in today's world. Through her presence on the show, she brings heart, humor, honesty to the screen, challenging stereotypes and offering a fresh, new perspective on what it means to balance faith with contemporary life.
Say mashallah.
Say mashallah.
Wow.
Yes, Takbir. Last but not least is our friend Sagar Sheikh, actor. Stars as Raj in the Onyx Collective Hulu series, Delhi Boys, streaming now on Hulu.
Right now!
Yes, baby. Sheikh was previously seen as Amr Khan on Disney Plus limited series Miss Marvel. And after the success of that series, he's also appeared in the crossover Marvel Cinematic Universe film, The Marvel.
Oh my God, box office.
Out of control. Box office babe is what you call him.
Lowest-
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that what you call him?
The lowest box office hit that Marvel's ever
We
had.
listen and we don't judge.
Oh, wow.
I did that.
Wow. you need to start on the positive foot.
Yes,
Also,
of course.
thanks for
No,
crashing
I like
that
to start
series.
low and then build.
Oh, I love that. I love
know?
that. Yeah, boo. Okay. So I have my first question to Mr. Asif here.
Yeah.
And we're going to have questions at the end. Okay? And I'm really going to ask for questions at the end.
Okay.
Not your little soliloquies out here.
No
okay?
paragraphs.
No, and none of your opinions. I just want the question. So, okay, I'm going to ask our wonderful panel members here questions, and they're going to answer so quickly and so focused.
Yes.
It's going to be great. It's like Jeopardy. And just answer it in the form of a question.
Yes.
Also.
What
Okay.
is?
Yes. Delhi Boys explores the themes of family, identity, and survival through a comedic and satirical lens. In your performance, how did you balance the depth of these themes to create an authentic story?
You know, oftentimes when you get scripts that are like not good, you have to do all the heavy lifting to put all of that in it. We were very lucky that Abdullah Saeed and Nora Silver and Jenny Connor and Michelle Nader gave us scripts that were so meaty already with three-dimensional characters that are not side, people with two lines, that most of that work was already done for us. So we were very lucky that the script was already really solid. So we just had to show up and show out.
Yes, to be seen and not.
I was hoping that would get a standing ovation.
Yeah,
but
that was really good.
Oh wait, no.
That was really good. That was really good.
I'm getting some pity claps and I accept it.
We'll take any claps we can get. So Huda, all right, on Muslim Matchmaker, we try to bring a really fresh take here on modern Muslim dating. How do you, when you approach the show, how did you ensure that you stayed true to the real life Muslim experiences while making it engaging for a broader audience?
Thanks for the question, Yasmin. So honestly, authenticity for us was non-negotiable. There was nobody that was going to make this show that was going to water it down for anybody. We weren't here. I'm going to actually answer the second part first. How did we make it engaging? And the honest answer is we did not try to make this watchable to the non-Muslim audience. Muslim American stories are inherently interesting. You get to see a cast of people from so many ethnic backgrounds, so many professional careers on various places of the religious spectrum. You get everything. So we didn't go into this all right, we're gonna have to rip off some hijabs and throw some chai in people's faces for this to be interesting.
I've always wanted
we
to throw
didn't have
chai in
to
people's
doctor it.
faces. Yeah.
But maybe that's another show. But we like honestly, our goal was not like, all right, we're gonna do this thing and we gotta fake some stuff to make it interesting. Like we weren't here trying to sit at somebody else's table. We were blessed to have a great platform, but honestly, like we got to make our own table. And we put biryani on it, we put matluma on it, we put kushari on it, and it's Ramadan, we put some dates on that table. We really like got this opportunity, and we had an amazing crew that allowed us to do this. We got to tell the story ourselves. Nobody was going in here telling us like, all right, this is how it's gonna look, this is what you gotta do. You know, when you think about like Muslims and love stories that I've seen, it's like girl meets guy, falls in love, abandons her family to go and be with this person. I'm like, does anybody like know anyone where that's actually happened? Because I don't.
I'm living it right now.
All right, bar Asif. Bar Asif. But honestly, we really got to showcase our community for what it is, and it was genuine and authentic, and it was amazing.
That's beautiful. Nobody cares. Wow. Come on, guys.
We have to support each other as a community.
Yes.
True.
So Sagar, Delhi Boys is a real rare example of a show that places Muslim characters front and center rather than a supportive role. What drew you to this project, and what does it mean for you personally to see stories like this on screen?
I mean, it means everything, right? I started acting in 2010, and at the time, I was lucky to get a commercial audition, right? I would audition for it, and I'd watch the thing, and it would be a white guy that they cast in that role. So, like, this one is really special, especially having two main characters up front.
Yeah.
You know,
Two hot
two
main
hot
characters.
guys.
Okay. Activated the front row, one guy. Well, I'll take that.
One fan.
Yeah.
No, it was really
Two's
special.
better than one.
That's true.
When I first read the script, it was like the best script that I had ever read.
Awesome.
That I was able to see myself as any of the two characters, and I knew that moment that I was going to be a part of this project. I mean, I didn't know, but I planned on it, and I made it my life's mission. I set up a meeting with Abdullah. You know, I hung out with him for a couple of hours. And I told him I wanted to audition. I wanted to be a part of this project. I wanted to play Raj. And he was like, "Oh, I actually wrote that for myself."
Oh.
And he's like, "But I could see you as Amir." And I was like, "Yeah, I've been both of these guys before." So, you know, like 2 months later, I auditioned for it. I got the audition, the callback, the producer-director session, and then I'd screen tested for it. And then I get a call, and they're like, you know, they made an offer to somebody. And I was like, is it Asif Ali?
I did it again.
He's taken so many jobs from me.
Arch nemesis.
Yeah. And then like a couple of hours later, I get a call, and they said that Abdullah is pulling out of that role because he wants to focus more on behind the camera stuff.
And you're talking about Abdullah Saeed.
Abdullah Saeed, the creator.
Who's the creator and,
Yeah.
and writer behind
Yes.
Delhi Boys.
Yes.
And so they wanted me to read for Raj. They wanted me to audition for it.
Oh my God.
So then I read for that, and then I did all the steps for that, and then I got it. And then we met for the first time.
We met on Zoom.
Yeah.
Wow. How did it
Ever
feel
heard of it?
to meet your enemy?
Honestly, after I met him, I was like, I get it.
I hated him even more.
No.
so
He's like,
sweet.
he's so much nicer than he looks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
I
don't know.
look like a bad boy. I know.
bad boy.
Bad
yeah,
boy.
a nasty boy.
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
nasty
You definitely want to
guy.
say that in Ramadan or nasty.
That'll be the clip. Yeah.
Cool. And so it's just it's been history ever since. You kind of like you wanted Raj and you got Raj.
I got exactly what I wanted. Yeah.
Amazing.
And there was that kind of feeling on set where everybody, because it was a front-facing, you know, South Asian Muslim kind of story, which we knew was a very rare thing,
Yeah.
much like you guys probably experienced that.
Yes.
You know, we were very like committed to giving it like 1,000%, because unfortunately in this business, you know that like this is not like a normal thing.
Yeah.
So we were like operating at like 1,000%. Like whatever we were doing, we're like, if we're doing blood splatter, put the most you can possibly.
Most. Yeah,
Whatever
we
you
fully
guys did.
committed to everything.
role.
We like turned it up 10 notches because we wanted the show to be as gritty as we could make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was also people who were much older than us, because you know, obviously we're
We're babies.
Okay, you know
We're
the you know the
babies.
vibes. You know the vibes. But there were people much older who were like, broke down the doors for us, so we had to play cab drivers and terrorist guys as the only way they could put food on the table. They had
Yeah.
to do that for 30 years.
Yeah.
And so to get their perspective while working with them and having them kind of be like, hey, these are the types of roles that we would have loved to have played because we had the skill set, but
Yeah.
the industry hadn't gotten there yet.
Well, that's much respect that we look to the wisdom from really the
elders.
the giants that
Yeah.
were standing on their shoulders that have
Absolutely.
opened so many doors for us. You know, I mean, me and Huda are obviously we're the duo behind Muslim Matchmaker, and
Okay, here we go.
You have one fan.
All right,
we have one fan.
But
We have to say, we have some Muslim Matchmaker cast members in the
Oh,
front.
yeah. I recognize you
we've
guys.
got our beautiful Nurin and Noreen, not to be confused.
Yeah.
One is Noreen and one is Nurin.
Yeah.
Both
One's
amazing in their
both incredible, and we love having them here. But yeah, it felt like a huge responsibility on our shoulders.
Yeah.
To show up in the most authentic way, but also fully.
Yeah.
Like fully, it was tough sometimes because we both. I mean, Huda was pregnant, and she just
were?
showed up
Congratulations.
and showed out. Can we just give it up for life making?
Life making.
Life making's not easy. Okay.
It's not.
Life breaking. My life was breaking while I
Wow.
was doing that show,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she was life making during that show,
Unbelievable.
and we just
We're very complimentary to one
Yin
another.
and yang. I love it.
yeah. I'm the sad one. Okay. So awesome.
Give it up for sadness.
Give it up for sadness.
You all have
Give it up for grief. Ugh, it's delicious. There's this one white woman that was like, yes.
Yes, they're speaking
God,
to
I
me.
love grief. I want to be your
Saga, this
bestie.
is
I don't
what
know.
happens when
You know,
we're
Yahoo.
comedians.
Yeah, baby. We're gonna be best. Oh my God. Okay, I'll catch that kiss and put it right here. Okay, I'll save it for later. Put it in my hijab, like a little snack. Okay. You don't know what I'm talking about, but hijabis week sometimes have snacks. Just hang.
Oh, you got little
Yep.
treats?
And then I'm like, is that a
in the
goldfish?
creases?
For
I
me?
love
Guys,
that.
stay tuned for their stand-up comedy show happening immediately after this.
We have two people that are confirmed.
So Asif, what shifts have you seen and noticed in Hollywood? I said it right the first time. What shifts have you? It's Ramadan. God damn it. Okay. What shifts have you noticed in Hollywood when it comes to opportunities for Muslim artists like yourself? What still needs to change?
I think that a lot still needs to change. I think, there is, it felt like we were making some progress, and then obviously things have happened recently that feels like we're taking a million steps backwards. But I think that getting the opportunity to make things like what you guys are, your project and ours, I think, really going all out and trying to make the best possible product you can, because the industry bases what they're going to make based off of what does well. So this is why the support of the community matters a lot, because when executives get in the room, they go, hey, Muslim Matchmaker did well. Let's do that again. But also, what can we do that's in this universe that we can kind of expand to? Because there's a demo that's really watching this and liking it. And much to the same of Deli Boys, this show's like so unique, much like yours, that ideally, we're at such a point in the industry that if our shows do as great as we want them to do, they'll be used as examples. It'll be like, oh, I want a show that's like Deli Boys meets XYZ kind of thing, or Muslim Matchmaker meets, XYZ kind of thing. So the support of the community matters a lot. And that really is, to answer your question, that is how things change. Because ultimately it is a business.
Yes.
You get the opportunity to make something if you're lucky. But if that thing doesn't do well, they are now going to look at this as an example of, this is why we don't do things like this. Meanwhile, for other communities, we know who we're talking about. You can make 5,000 things that suck, and that has no bearing on whether they're going to make another, movie with an all-white cast or something
Right,
like
we're
that.
not
Right?
afforded the opportunity to make anything mediocre.
Yes, you have to be excellent.
Yes.
And that's the kind of pressure. Hopefully, I would love to be in a place where, that didn't work, but we're going to make another Muslim show or South Asian show or Arab show, whatever. But we're not there right now. So that's where we need to go. But for right now, we all just need to, support and lift each other up.
It's so beautiful. And yeah, we sort of have to be
Oh, I got one? Hell yeah.
A little bit. It was a wave.
Okay.
Let's
Oh,
start
we're
again.
fishing here today.
Let's start. I love the desperation. And,
It's palpable.
it's sexy. But
We
what
need a leaderboard up here. How many claps? All right,
funny.
That's one for Asif.
Oh my
clap
god,
meter.
that's really good. I was gonna say too that it feels like we have to be undeniable.
You have to be.
Like it's like you got to be so good they can't say no
Yes.
because they want to say no.
They want to because they have no example
Looking for
that this
any
works.
reason to say no.
Yeah.
So we just want to tell everyone here to please tell all your friends about these
Please.
shows. All of your
Please.
friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, the people that would not normally consume maybe Muslim media and see it as really a really great show that happens to
Right,
include
and that's also a
Muslims.
huge thing of like, these are just shows that are good.
Yes.
It's not like
Yes.
you have to constantly be pushing this thing of like, and that was a huge thing that Abdullah, the creator of our show, would always talk about. He would be like, this is just a really funny show that happens to be all these things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like when you tell people about The Hangover or whatever, you don't go, oh, it's just cool, like European Americans making this movie. It's a real opportunity.
Anglo-Saxons crushing it.
Dude, the Wasps are really doing it this year. They've made this movie. So it's just, and post about it on your social media. I mean, every little
Yes.
thing really does add up. And
Do it right now.
do it right now.
Do it right
and
now.
Yeah.
it does add up.
The
and
desperation is palpable. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
but
it's-
do
we're
it.
all
But
on
do
one
it.
network.
We're,
We're all
oh
on
yes,
Hulu.
we're all on Hulu, and
We're
we
all on
love
Hulu.
you, Hulu. Thank you.
Shout
Hulu.
out
love
to
you.
Hulu.
Shout out to
Yes.
Hulu. Shout out to Hulu and the Onyx Collective.
Yes, and the Onyx Collective.
And
Yes,
for
yes,
us,
yes.
ABC,
ABC
News
News
Studios that
Yes.
took a chance on us. Yes.
Yeah.
So, kind of in that vein, Huda, I want to ask you, what have you felt has been the audience response so far to our show, and what has it taught you about the appetite for more nuanced portrayal of Muslim culture in mainstream entertainment?
So, Asif made so many good points. And while we didn't make this show thinking like, all right, we need all these white people to watch it, what I will tell you is they did watch it. I have had so many Susans and Karens in my DMs like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
God, I love it.
Thank you for this show. Like, I didn't know this about Muslims. I didn't, I've never seen this before. And so that was, a really nice bonus. Like, we already knew the Muslim community for the most part was going to watch this show. Some people loved it, some people hated it, and that's totally okay. But I've been so surprised at how many people I just didn't expect to it's like imposter syndrome. It's like, we made this thing of like, I'm a matchmaker in real life. Like, that's my work. And so it was extra special to be able to showcase this to, an international stage. And so any message I would get, I'm like, wait, they're not talking about Muslim matchmaker. Like, that's not us. They didn't really watch this, did they? And I'm sure you see
Pinching yourself, right?
yeah. And so I've been blown away by the reaction that we've gotten both from, inside our community and outside of our community. And it really showed these stories are needed.
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of one of those things you don't know you need it until you see it. And you don't know, we know it, these stories haven't been told, but I think the global scale doesn't realize oh, you know what? We don't really get to see this that often. These are things I didn't know about. And it's kind of now that it's there, I think everybody just wants more and more and more, not just of our shows, but of seeing these intricate lives on these huge platforms.
Yeah. And every single time, one of them succeeds, then it gives room for more shows with better ideas,
totally.
more nuance, more color, more diversity to be seen as well. So, Sagar, what steps do you think kind of need to be taken to ensure that Muslim creatives aren't just in front of the camera, but also behind the camera in decision-making roles?
I think it starts with stop listening to your parents.
Oh, we're going to go
Stop.
there.
No, I mean
Okay.
I'm with you,
obviously,
dude.
Insurrection.
I love that.
Yeah.
Insurrection.
No, do you mean follow your own
Yeah,
tuition?
Be a doctor or
we're so
engineer.
caught up in I got to do what my parents say.
Of course.
My dad did this, my mom was this, so I got to become this.
Yeah.
And if you really want to do that, sure, go for
Yeah.
it. But if there's something else you want to do, go for that, right?
Yeah.
We need to kind of just spread our wings a little bit
Open the
more as a
aperture of
community.
your
Yeah,
life.
we need to
Yeah.
spread those veins and,
Mm-hmm.
and try different things and explore different industries. And I wish that when I was coming up, or when I started,
Yeah.
there were people like me
Same.
in those seats, right?
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
we need casting directors that are like us,
And executives, people who sign
executives,
checks,
writers,
Yeah.
producers, directors,
department heads,
department heads, editors,
Yeah.
director of photography, people behind the camera. Because even like I'm sure you guys know that light skin versus darker skin is
It's a
different.
thing.
It's a whole thing.
It's different. So and there's money in it.
Yeah,
so,
you're gonna
like,
make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, down to the sound engineers, right?
Yeah.
Right down to the sound engineers.
Yeah.
And also, it's like if we don't do it, someone else is gonna tell your story, and you're gonna be watching it, being like, we don't act like this.
You're gonna get mad.
Yeah.
We've always gotten mad, right?
Yes,
We can be in the driver's seat,
Yeah.
and we can be the manufacturer of the car.
totally.
You know what?
You gotta do it.
Nobody will care for us like how we care for us.
Exactly.
Of course not. Of course
Exactly.
not. And it is a risk. It is a risk, and there is no certainty behind it. But like, it just. I always tell people. People ask me like, what advice would you give me? I've been acting for 2 years or whatever, and I always tell them like, you only fail when you quit.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you keep going, you will get there, and you will have some hard years. I've there was a time where I came to terms where I may never buy a house, I may never have a nice car, I may always have a roommate, and I'm okay with that. I just want to do what I want to do for a living.
And you have to believe in yourself. Tell them your South by Southwest story.
Yeah. I used to volunteer at South by Southwest.
Oh.
In 2011, 2012, and 2013.
Amazing.
I used to do the registration, and I used to give the tote bags out and fill them up with the little paperwork or whatever. Yeah. And in 2013, I had already moved to LA at the time. I moved to LA in 2012. I came back to work at South by, and I would try to go to as many films as I could, meet people. In 2013, I told myself, this is my last year volunteering at South by. The next time I come to South by will be when I have a project, or if I'm invited for a panel to promote the project.
And look at it!
It took me 12 years.
12.
It took me 12 years.
Wow.
But Sue and Impact,
Yes.
Yes.
they made it
happen.
happen for me. So
Made
thank
it
you.
happen.
Yeah.
Huda
Where's
also
Sue?
has a South by story, guys.
Yeah, it's not as exciting as yours, but
Should have started with
it's-
yours.
No.
You didn't
Start
have to
high
ask
and go
them
low.
to clap like we
When
did.
we go high, we go low. No, it's been on my vision board for. I've never been. This is my first time. First time here speaking, and it's been on my vision board since I was like 18. I didn't know how I was gonna get here. I didn't know why I was gonna be here. I didn't know what I was gonna be talking about, but I knew I was gonna be here talking about something important, showcasing work that was meaningful. Here we are.
Beautiful.
We are.
Beautiful.
And I came
Shout
here
out
for
to the
free
volunteers. Shout out to the volunteers.
Food. Yeah, shout out to the
They worked
volunteers.
so hard.
Yeah.
Shout out to the tech crew right here,
Yeah.
making us look and sound good.
Yes.
And
with
watch
our
Deli Boys, guys.
garbage.
Please,
It's
you
on
have so
Hulu.
many
It's all-
monitors.
all 10
Load up
episodes are
Hulu
streaming
on
right
one
now.
of them.
Yeah, just 2 shows on Hulu.
Yeah,
Deli
and
Boys
Muslim
and
Matchmaker.
Muslim
And Muslim
Matchmaker.
Matchmaker, yeah.
Asif and Yasmin, I think Sagar and I are winning the leaderboard
really
right now.
are, for sure. That's
And that's okay.
that's all right.
Because
It's
we
not
do
a
comedy.
competition.
Because we do comedy, we have other
Yeah, yeah.
validation.
Yeah,
we
it's
don't love
fine.
ourselves.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, so I kind of have my final question. Then we're going to open it up to our audience. So
Yeah.
here's my
Guys.
question, guys. We often hear in our communities like, "What was the greatest obstacle that you had to face?" I don't want to ask that question. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
I want to ask. I'll start with Asif. What was the time that you were like, "Man, I did not expect this door to be so easy to open"? Like, what was something that really gave you joy in what you're doing, or surprised you in a positive way, or was like, "Man, that was a lot." It just everything aligned. It just all fell into place.
Earlier when I started my career, at that time there weren't many opportunities for roles that people that look like me that weren't like terrorist cab driver stuff.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who's an older dude who's like an incredible actor, like Juilliard, like legit. He gave me this piece of advice where
Jonathan
he was,
Majors.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors. Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna something's gonna happen, but just look out for me. And no. He was a Muslim Arab guy, and he was like, dude, whatever you do, just make stuff with your friends. I had like a little sketch group with Hassan Minhaj and Fahim Anwar and Aristotle.
Heard of them?
Who are like so cool. And so he was like, dude, just keep making stuff with your friends, because if you do what I did, which so he thought the term was work begets work.
Yeah.
And that does not apply to people of color. If you do the same role 3 times, that's just who the hell you are for the rest of your career. They do not see you as having range or anything like that. That's for other people. And he showed me the back of his resume, and it was just like Teres Cabra, Teres Vara. And he was like, I am so qualified, but I'll never be the friend on something. He actually left LA. He was like, I have a family. I gave it a shot. I have to just call it. And so what that did for us is gave us the fuel to make our own stuff. You can do that. And that was like the window of like, we made our own stuff. We put it on YouTube. It did well. And that was a thing of like, oh yeah, you can make your own stuff. Like waiting for someone to, bless you with whatever. That's like, don't wait for other people to give you the opportunity. You can make it yourself. And we use those sketches for twofold. One, to like boost our profile as comedians on the internet, but also we use the scenes of that, the funny scenes of us being like regular ass people or like funny characters, and we use that as our reel. And then I use that reel to then get parts on like New Girl or like other shows where I was playing just like a regular guy. So just make your own stuff. Find people who like all right, it's time. I like this. She's like, you got to wrap it up, dude.
You still have time.
But make your own stuff. Find people in your friend group that you actually like see the vision with, and like gas each other up, because those are the people that you're going to see and build with for the next 10, 20 years of your career.
I knew that I was going to ask that question, but it was going to end in advice. So perfect.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you don't need to wait for the gatekeepers.
No.
Make it yourself and make it with integrity with your friends.
Yes, and people notice that. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Obsessed. Okay.
Right.
Linda.
I'm going to build off of that point there.
Let's build.
I'm going to build something I'm so proud of, and it could have gone horribly wrong, was doing this with Yasmin. And you guys have kind of, really, I mean it. You guys have kind of the same thing going on. You would think, for both of you, like, we're going to compete. Yeah. I want more screen time. I want to be the one doing XYZ. I want to be the one on the pictures and the whatever. But you'd be shocked at how easy it was to work together. How just like fun it was. Like we would have we just had such a good repertoire, and we were friends, before doing this show, but we would like have strategy calls with each other of like, okay, this topic is coming up, or there's this like, hey, how do we want to handle this as a team, and how are we going to bring that to the crew, to the the people behind the scenes. And it was like the perfect lesson, and like we do better together as a community. We do better when we are on the same side, when we don't see each other as competition or enemies or somebody that you got to like stifle to lift yourself to the top. I genuinely think this show couldn't have been done with just one of us. Yeah. It would have been a different show. It wouldn't have been as good. Yasmin could have done it on her own. I'll say that.
No.
But really, like we both got to let each other shine in our own ways and complement each other in our own ways, and it elevated our work so much more. So that was surprisingly easy.
I don't know what to say. That was so beautiful. And
you're getting worked on the applauses.
And we're getting worked.
I watched y'all show, and it was so fun.
Very good chemistry.
You guys have a really good like dynamic with each other. Mm-hmm. Like you can be very stern and very scary, but that gets stuff done. It gets the point across. People listen, right? Yeah. And then you have like the softness and the heart and the, and I'm saying you're not
sweetness,
an empath, but like no, like you are not the more of the empath, right?
Yeah.
And like you listen and you explain things in a different way. Both of you guys have your own style, and they both work so well together.
Thank you.
Almost like we complement each other.
Yeah. Almost.
Yeah, I could have just said that.
You could have just said that.
I like the long version.
Little good
Tell us
bad
more about
Well, I'm going to ask you, Sagar, the same question to round us out, and then we'll start getting questions from the audience.
Yeah, I gotta say, my trajectory, I think, has been really hard. I haven't had a lot of like easy moments. It's been a lot of like hurdles that I've had to jump.
Oh God.
I had the beard for a long time.
Yeah.
And for a minute that was like working. I was like starting to get commercial work, and like that was probably the easiest thing for me.
Great.
Where you know, and it was like a hipster beard.
You got a good beard.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
Yeah. Thank you.
I always say if it don't connect, you ain't correct. This mashallah, the
Someone's crying in the audience now because you said that.
Half the guys.
So
And
you're
then
doing some commercial work.
yeah, I was doing a lot of commercial work, you know, and that was probably like when I was like, oh, dude, this is working, right? I book like 5 or 6 commercials a year. That's my year, right? Wow. And then I got Miss Marvel, and I think it's because of the beard. And Sana Amanat, who created the show, Miss Marvel, she was like, no, we would have cast you anyways. But yeah, even then, like I have 12, 13-month gaps between jobs.
It's tough.
This job was the easiest job I had.
Amazing.
It was the hardest, but I got to work with the best people, and it made it the easiest. And I hope to do this for 5 more years. I think what you guys can do for us is watch it and support each other and support our shows.
Yeah.
We're fighting for our lives out here.
Yeah.
Yes. We got to keep that beard full, okay?
Yeah. Actually, I keep trying to shave it.
No, what are you
better
doing?
not.
You will look
better
like
not.
a tiny baby.
Yeah, don't do this to me.
I like to keep a stubble and a mustache.
Okay, you know what? You do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, he's
Thank
on
you.
his hot boy
Yeah.
business. Yeah.
But we want to support the beard oil. We want to just like we want to be able to feed you, you know. So
Thank you,
please
thank you.
watch the shows. Okay, guys, we're gonna open up for audience
Who
questions.
has
I
a
love that your hands are up. So
question?
there is a microphone right in the center that I would love for you to mosey on down and stand in front of to ask your question.
Oh, this is like a town hall.
like a town hall. And this is my white friend. Hello, lady.
Hi.
Hi.
White girl who likes sadness.
Wait, what's
The
your
human
name?
Condition. My name's Christina.
Nice to meet you, Christina.
Yeah,
Meet
she
you.
was
Y'all
cheering
are
for
hilarious.
sadness.
This is one of the most entertaining panels I've ever seen.
Oh my God! Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yes.
Wait,
We are
wait,
here to
so
slay, not to
that
play.
not that this is a competition, but who did the best?
All of
Y'all
us,
are all
right? It's
cracking me up.
crazy.
Hilarious and such a great and important discussion. But one of my questions, going off your point of creating your own stories, I'm actually a writer, and I've been looking for funding for my script. And I was wondering if y'all have any advice on how to find that funding, because I could write all day, but I just don't have money falling out of my pockets to put my stuff on the screen. And actually, the story that I'm most trying to get on the screen is a kids movie that's about Latin American immigrants and why they come to this country. Which I
Cool.
think stories like that need
Yeah.
to be told.
Yeah.
But I'm just completely lost on finding the people who fund these things.
Can I play the little kid? I'm just kidding. I'm just
Look,
kidding.
I think
Gotta
this
shave your
is-
beard first.
I think this is like a question like this is where the rest of the community needs to come in
Yeah.
and put their support behind. We got a lot of rich doctors out here. You know? We got a lot of rich lawyers, engineers. And look, when we make short films or indie films, it's hard to think of them as an investment because a lot of times they will only break even, but it's a push in the right direction. So like we need to ask our rich friends if they can lend us a hand and donate $1,000, $2,000 because it's for the future. It's not an investment. They're not going to make their money back.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do, but realistically they might not.
Yeah.
But it is a push in the right direction for the culture.
And there's a lot of like organizations and institutes, like we were at Sundance, not to brag, and they have like programs where they'll help you fund something. And also there's the sizzle version of this movie. Make a 5-minute version of this movie. That way people with money can see something. Because let's be honest, rich people are not reading. They're not going to read a 90-page script. But if you show them like a 5-minute proof of concept kind of thing and go, hey, this is what we want to do. This is like the super low budget version of this. That's also a way to get in. So there's lots of places with grants. There's lots of places where you can show like, a sizzle or something. And yeah, like he's saying, everyone in here has a doctor cousin who makes fun of them for wanting to be in the arts. And it's like, okay, then give me money so I don't have to be this guy anymore.
And
there-
you know-
sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to say that's exactly what was done for our show. We made a sizzle and we put a lot of effort into making that thing freaking amazing because they needed proof of concept. They needed
Exactly.
to see something that, like, what are we buying into? So absolutely do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can use truly your iPhone to make the sizzle.
Yeah. But that's what we're here for, to meet people who are like great at camera, great at audio, whatever. You got to make your community and make stuff together.
Yeah, that's what MPAC helps spread the word for that. There's like Pillars Fund. There's 1497. There's a lot of different organizations out there to help us push the needle.
And the big thing are the writing competitions. That's what I would tell you. There are a lot of writing competitions that you should submit to at indie film, festival level, as well as like higher,
like the Blacklist and stuff like that.
Exactly, and things that are funded by foundations. But I do think that your story, it's got to be important. It's important because it drives you, and you have an emotional connection to it. And trust me, there is someone eagerly waiting to hear it.
We can't wait to watch it.
We cannot wait. Yeah,
We'll,
so good
we'll
luck.
see you here in 2 years.
Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, we'd love to take our next question.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Faraz.
Nice to meet you,
Yes.
Faraz.
Nice name.
Good to meet you guys. Let's give another round of applause for the Trailblazers.
Faraz.
Desperation mode. I'm doing what I can do to help
Thank you so
Austin.
much. We're back on the board.
Got it.
And Cigar, I got to say, very inspiring story about South by Southwest.
Yes.
Really
Thank
was
you,
touched by that. So
I
another
made it
round of
up on the
applause.
way here.
And fantastic beard, by the way. My beard doesn't connect, so
Hey, man, we still love you, though.
I was
We still
crying
love
in the
you.
corner.
I don't
but
love you. You ain't correct.
thinking of getting beard implants like Drake.
That's a
but
great idea.
I don't know.
You
Don't
can go
do
to
it. Don't
Turkey
do it.
Trip.
Don't do it.
Turkish Airways.
Go to
Awesome.
Turkey.
Did
So
you get
what's
beard
up, dude?
implants?
What's
or-
up?
All right, here's my question.
Yes.
So, asking for a friend.
Okay.
If you've written a pilot and you kind of have a whole sort of story built
Sure.
out, what do you think the right steps are to get that in front of the right people? Because you mentioned the gatekeepers
Same thing.
not going down
It's
that
the
route.
same thing we were telling her. Just like you gotta go through your network, see if you know anybody. But if you don't have like a huge resume behind you,
Yeah.
they're not gonna. Most likely, people with money are not just gonna read it because they look at like, okay, what is this person? It's kind of like when they make a big budget movie. There's a reason they sign on Ryan Gosling or something because they're like, we know this guy, he can get us money, kind of thing. But if you make like a sizzle, if you make a really good sizzle, or get people together to do like readings. I've been to those too, where they do like
Table readings.
Yeah, table reads and stuff. You got to do stuff where there can build some sort of energy around it, But I would say build a sizzle because we're in 2025 and people ain't reading shit.
And
Like,
would you, just follow-up question, would you like film those readings and put them on YouTube and splice it up or something? Or just
you
like,
could do that, but I think making a sizzle honestly like is the most important thing you could do because I know my older brother's my manager, and so like I have so much insight from that side of the business, and he's like, dude, people are selling things in the room off of a sizzle. Yeah. If it's really popping and the sizzle's good, then they'll read the whole script, and if they have that too, they'll be like, this is because they have to sell it to their boss.
Yeah.
So if you have something that they can show their boss, even if that person loves you and is obsessed with you, if they can't prove it to their boss, it's never going to happen. So you got to be undeniable, like we were saying, of like, you need to cover all of the bases,
I'm going to give the same advice I give to my single clients. Also, network the hell out of your life.
Yeah.
Go everywhere.
Yeah.
Meet everybody.
But don't be annoying.
Don't be annoying.
Don't be desperate like us.
Yeah.
But just network. Like go to places that are like, in line with your work, in line with you, in line with your ethos, and just network, meet people, talk to people about your project that seem interested or where there's like some alignment there. And sometimes going to a space that you may not usually go to can be super, super fruitful. So yeah, networking always.
And also, don't be afraid to mess up, right?
Totally.
Like you're going to network, you're going to meet people, you're going to say something stupid, you're going to be like, damn it, why did I say that? It's okay. Like you learn so much from your daily failures that like in 10 years from now, you're going to have it. You're gonna be so much better than you.
And you don't know what the thing is gonna be. Like even Abdullah Saeed, who wrote our show, he just wrote it because he was just trying to get staffed on a show. He didn't even think it was gonna get made. He was just trying to get in a writer's room. And when you want to get staffed, they just tell you to write the craziest idea you have because they can just see like your sense of humor. And so you don't know what it's gonna be. This is one pilot that you've written. You're probably gonna write like 50 of them in your life, and hopefully you'll make a bunch of shows. But you can't get too far, ahead of yourself. You know what I mean? Just like go out there, like they're saying, go out, meet people, and network. You have a long career ahead of you.
And I just want to add one thing. When we're talking about sizzle reel, I know you're thinking like a table read, cut it up. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about like a proof of concept that looks like how the show is supposed to look.
Right,
okay?
like if there's
Yeah.
a fight scene
So,
in it, do a little bit of the fight scene.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to make that clear. Like, doing a table read and cutting it up into a video is probably not going to get you eyeballs on there that are excited about it and see it come to life. People want to see your idea come to life. I did a whole parody called Muslim Matchmaking after
Yeah.
I watched Indian Matchmaking.
Yeah, yeah.
I called it Yazflix.
Love it. And
I
look
did
at-
that 2 years before.
And look
I'm
where
just saying,
we're
I did that
at.
2 years
And
before.
look where we're
you know what I'm
at.
saying? So what he's saying is fire. Like what he's saying
you.
is fire advice. That's exactly what you need to do. And don't ever underestimate if you become a production assistant on something, if you become an intern on something.
Yeah, totally.
And walk your way into, sometimes having to pay your dues in unpaid terms. You will, if you impress somebody by your hustle and your creativity and your humor in person, and you say, actually, I wrote something. Would you take a look at it? I'd love to get your eyes on it. Or, hey, I shot something. It's just 5 minutes. Could you take a look? Those are going to be your most important connections when we're talking about the networking piece. Yeah.
We can't wait to see it.
And another thing on the table read thing, a table read is good to do, but it is not for the public. It is
Right.
for you to learn, how the flow of your script, people reading it, you seeing it back,
Character.
hearing it.
Yeah.
And
all that kind of stuff.
I'm doing one of those in April.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, at Y'all, which is the Yes and Laughter Lab, which I would also recommend if you're Muslim here, if you're a person of color, or if you're just somebody who is social justice minded, you can apply for fellowships like that, which are looking at how do we get comedy and social justice to find some type of way forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
In creativity.
So nice to meet you,
Amazing.
bro.
Super helpful. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, guys.
guy.
Walaikum
my
salam.
guy.
I like this man in a dress. Let's do it.
Thank you. I actually didn't even know I should wear this thobe. I was
Fantastic.
scared.
I'm
because I
glad
was
you
like,
did, bro. Look
I have
at
to go
you.
to iftar right after, so I was like, let me just not change and go home. I'll just go right
Came
after.
in like a cloud. I
yeah.
love it.
My name is Bilal. I'm a part of UT Austin MSA.
Hell
Shout
yeah.
out Texas MSA on Instagram.
yeah.
MSA.
Longhorns.
A lot of us got our start at MSA. A lot of us
Yeah.
got married from MSA.
Oh, my friends
wow.
included. Shout out to your outfit, Yasmin. It's beautiful.
Oh my God,
Styled by
shout
Asma.
out. You're so sweet.
Wow, who styled it?
Styled by
Who
Asma
styled it?
Pervez.
Right
Styled
here.
by Asma.
Right
she is.
here.
Styled by Asma Pervez. Thank you so much.
Yes.
By designer in Pakistan.
I found out about this event last week because Iman, who's working behind the scenes with letting people in.
In the shadows, behind the scenes. I love that.
Yeah, the behind the scenes. Mona is her friend. Mona is an alumni of UT Austin. I worked with her last year, part of the MSA.
Amazing.
She reached out to me to get 100 non-Muslim students. I wasn't able to do that, but I got a lot of them. A lot of my
You
friends.
tried, dude. What's
He's
up?
recording me right now. Sorry.
Yeah,
Question.
you're good.
First off, Sagar, my older sister, she also volunteered at South by Southwest. She's 27. I've never been here before. Like, I did not know any of this existed. This whole world existed before an hour. Let me get straight to the point. My question is, it's gonna take a little bit of a turn.
It's okay.
Bilal, just do it, dude. I'm
got
looking
this,
right
you
at
got
you.
As Muslims in this industry, how do you navigate your deen and your religiosity and staying true to Allah,
Ooh.
especially in this month of Ramadan?
As I drink this water.
Within the LA, New York culture. My older sister, she lived in LA and she lived in New York. And I know how there's so many Muslims out there, so many levels of religiosity. People are so judgmental. I realized 2 days ago how judgmental people are.
2 days ago?
2 days ago. No.
What? He's 21.
Personally.
21.
No, I've always known.
Okay.
I've always known, but I've experienced it in an insane way 2 days ago. I can't go into details, but
your
how do you navigate
This
that?
question
How do you
is amazing.
navigate?
Somebody needs to write a pilot about whatever happened 2 days ago.
I'm also a triplet. Shout out Amna and Zainab.
Oh, that's so cute.
My sister's visiting. She had surgery. She's in Austin.
Congratulate the growth that you've had in the last 4
Yeah.
No, the last 2 months has been test after test after test. Let me get straight to the point. Shout out Mason and
Ready?
Hamdan. We're gonna watch
Thank you.
Muslim matchmaking.
This man said, long story short, and then gave us a long story.
Sorry, I have ADHD. I think.
got
The
you,
question
bro.
is, how do you
The
navigate?
Adderall's
How,
kicking in.
how do you navigate your deed? in
Let
this
him
environment?
finish. Let him finish.
How do you navigate your
asked-
deen
Oh, he did ask.
Yeah, babe. Are you
in
okay?
this creative film industry space? Yeah, that's my question.
Thank you.
I'll be honest. I'm not the best Muslim, right?
No
I
worries.
try.
None of
I
us
try.
are.
I have my good years and my bad years. But I will say I have a good community back in LA, and they keep me grounded. And we pray together. We do Ramadan together every year. It's a really great community. My wife keeps me in check. My parents keep me in check. My brothers keep me in check. Asif is the one that pulls me down.
And I love it.
Hey, shout out Asif.
Thank you, bro.
No, but yeah, man, it's just having good people around that care about you and keep you grounded and keep you close to God.
Yeah.
I'll add to this one too. I think I have kind of a different. I think I was probably one of the more conservative Muslims on the show, I will say. And I was scared as hell. I was scared as hell to do this show and feel like it didn't align with like my values as a Muslim or how I represent myself, because you have so many different people on the show, which is important. It's super important to capture as much of the array of Muslims as we can, right?
Yes.
But my mom is a founding member of the Haram Police, and
Founding.
She's the sheriff?
Yeah, she
Of that
started
whole
the
town.
Haram Police. When she heard I was like doing this show, she was like, "Oh hell no!" I was like, "Dang, I don't think I can let her watch this. Somebody like sign out of Hulu. She can't see this." But no, she was really sweet in the end. But she only disowned me for like a day. But anyways, it was really like the people you surround yourself and make the project with is all the difference. We were really lucky that we had a crew, Smriti, who created Indian matchmaking. They deliberately brought on Sinan Khejji, who is Muslim, and it was really important to have the Muslim voice on that side of things, like on the higher ups, the executive producers, not just the cast, right? Because we don't get to make all the decisions, obviously. So who you make the project with is everything. And then also just like while you're going through the process of filming, there were certain things where I was like, no, I can't do that. And really simple things that like probably nobody would think about. Like there was one instance where so they tell you a lot of things really last minute. Like, all right, today, like we're gonna do these couples, we're gonna film this, yada yada. There was one instance, and it's so like minuscule to probably most people, but they were having one of the cast members, one of the guys on the show, like show up to my house for us to like have a meeting with him. And I was like, wait, I don't just have random dudes roll up to my house like without like a mahram present. Like I don't want that representation, or like I don't want that reflection of me. It's not really what I do in the real world, right? And we wanted it to be authentic. And so I was really lucky because I knew I had a crew that was gonna listen to what I had to say. And so I told them like, hey, like how can we work this so like it doesn't look like we're just like alone in my house with this guy?
Yeah.
And they like immediately like have ideas of like, you know what, let's have your husband open the door and we'll make sure he's like, not only we're gonna film it, we're gonna make sure it's in the show of like, yeah, her husband's home, he's opening the door, welcoming this guy in. And so those like small details are like, can be huge, like if it's the first time you're doing something like this. And so just surrounding yourself with a crew that you've built trust with and a cast that you've built trust with is like all the difference.
Yes. Yeah.
Bilal, do what makes you comfortable. Yeah. If something makes you feel uncomfortable, regardless of whatever, religious, personal, whatever, like if you feel uncomfortable, you have to be able to say, hey, I'm Bilal, I have this fly-ass outfit on, and this makes me feel uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't want to do this. Yeah. You have to advocate for yourself, and you have to say that, and you have to live with the results. It is what it is, and if you have that ability to advocate, a lot of people get into situations where I feel like the heart of this question is, hey, I wanted to say this was comfortable for me, but I didn't say anything, and now I'm in this situation. So really, if you're in any situation where you feel like it's not speaking to you as a person or whatever your level of anything in your life is, then just say that. But that is a thing that you have to like learn how to do. Not everybody is able, especially when you're in those kinds of situations where you feel like, oh no, am I gonna make everybody pissed off at me? They already set all these things up. But like you really have to develop that ability to say, hey, this doesn't make me feel comfortable, or can we find, like you were saying, can we find a way to do this in a different way? And you'd be surprised how well people can adjust. It's their entire job to deal with things being thrown at them all the time. They will find a way to adjust. Yeah. You will be fine, Bilal.
And you know what? Like, you're only 21. When I was 21, I wouldn't I wasn't able to ask a question like this.
This
So
is
you're
why Bilal's
already ahead of it.
This is why Bilal's so cool.
Yeah. That's why he's balling.
Thank you guys.
Out of control.
I'm just a normal person. Thank you. Salamko, may Allah reward you guys
I mean-
for the work that you've done for the Muslim community.
I
Genuinely.
mean, and teachers, guys, we have to have teachers. We can't just be flapping in the wind. If you want to be grounded in something, have mentors, have people around you. That community is really, really important. Yeah. We're ready for our next one.
Hi, I'm Lisa Stedman. Thank you for sharing your voices and your
Lisa.
talents. Super inspiring. So I have a show, Lauren of Arabia, that I'm going out with, and it's getting a lot of attention, which is really exciting. But when you look at me, you see
Congratulations.
white lady. Thank you. People don't necessarily know that I grew up in Saudi Arabia. So my question is, beyond representation
Sure.
in the room, in the writer's room, in the cast, and in the crew, what advice would you have for someone who's writing a show and looking to represent both American and Muslim perspectives equally?
I would make sure that you have. We had this experience on our show where, whatever it's going to look like on camera, have that be mirrored in the writer's room as well.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
Because if you want the culture to be portrayed accurately, as I'm guessing you're trying to do, then you want that in the writer's room as well. And you also want to get directors that are of that culture. And DPs, try to populate your show with as many people that can offer
Authenticity.
because on our show, it's like, even things you don't think about, like set designing and props and like all these things, if you have someone there that is of the culture, it just makes things actually a lot better and makes things a lot faster, because you don't have people going like, so what does this mean? And then now you have to have a whole meeting. So I would say, if you're in these meetings and you're making that clear, like, hey, I want to have, the writer's room and the directors and all that, I think that will help a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Lauren of Arabia is very clever.
It's a great name.
So clever.
So
Thank
good.
you.
Name.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. We could probably take a couple more.
We can take like 40, 80 more questions.
Go ahead. Yes, young lady.
Hi, my name's Anika.
Hi, Anika.
I grew up Muslim, and my halal to haram ratio is like. So I was just so happy to see your show. And I'm married outside of my religion, my race, and I have twin girls, and I'm just so excited for them to be able to see shows like that when they are coming of age.
You're talking about
Adorable.
Deli Boys, right?
Yeah.
Specifically, Deli Boy.
No, I was watching it, and then the blood scene came, and I was like, I gotta shut this down. But
Surprisingly gory, I gotta
yes,
say.
very.
Just turn it on, let it play in the background.
I was fine with it, but my husband wasn't. But
Your husband wasn't. Wow,
No.
I love that.
He stood up.
But my question is, like, I'm excited to watch it with them, but I feel like I would have some tension watching these shows with my mom. And I'm just curious, have you received like different reception generationally, especially from the Muslim community? And like, how do we break down the barriers for them to see like just the nuance of growing up Muslim in America and like how we're navigating, our culture and religion in this space?
I actually have a really cute story to share. I was at Tarawih like a few nights ago. And I had this Pakistani auntie come to me. She's like probably in her 60s, something like that. And she was like, listen, I watched your show. She's like, my daughter sat me down and made me watch it. And I was like, oh, I was a little scared, honestly. I was like, well, she's about to like chew me out. And she was like, thanks. Like, I didn't know what my kids go through when they're trying to get married. She's like, I had no idea this is what it looks like. I didn't know about the app. She's like, they've tried to talk to me about it, but I like just, I tuned them out. And she's like, and it took me kind of seeing this show to kind of understand and realize like, oh, it's really different than like what I'm used to. So my answer to that is you'd be surprised like how much the generation, we joke a lot about like our aunties and we give them a lot of slack for maybe being more closed-minded in their mind. And sometimes it's true, that's fair. But you'd be surprised at how much they're actually kind of willing to hear our perspective if it's like delivered in the right way. But yeah, I would just say you'd be surprised.
Yeah, and I would just say too that like my dad is 83 years old this year.
Congratulations.
He has lived a
83.
beautiful life. I'm the
Wow.
sixth of 6 kids, so it's like a big,
Oh my
it's a
God.
big gap. So he's still trucking, and I love him. But he heard the word dating. He was like, dating, interesting. You saying this out loud in front of everybody? Dating. and then I was like, just give it one episode. And in the first episode, we kind of, explain, and Huda explains it so articulately. Look, it's really like a courtship, and this is the dance that we dance, and we're trying to kind of understand our tradition with a very modern, contemporary sense of what's working in our society, and how we can do something in integrity as a Muslim. And he was like, okay, maybe.
That's a huge win.
Which is a huge win.
Maybe is a huge
right?
win.
And even when I was on The View, they were like, what is V? Why is V? Like, there's some things they're never going to understand, okay? They're never going to understand. Never going to understand it. But I think generationally, if we can open up the door to our parents to even, just say, give it a try.
I mean, it's a step up from
You
Inshallah.
might be surprised. Exactly. Step from Inshallah, I'll watch it, which means no. But I think going out on that limb and just giving them like an opening, like a little appetizer, even, you'd be surprised. I think I was very, very surprised myself, and it's really cool to see parents watching this with their teenagers, watching Muslim Matchmaking with them, because they're finally talking about things that maybe they weren't going to necessarily talk about. So.
Yeah.
How about
great.
Deli Boys? What do you
Deli
feel?
Boys, listen, I think this
Intergenerationally,
is why we need more people, more of us making things, because this is too much pressure to put on anybody. To put the entire culture on one show is insane.
It is a lot, but this is
It's
a great
insane.
spectrum, right?
It's a great spectrum.
between the two shows.
But just like how you wouldn't show, a 6-year-old a Tarantino movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's
Kill
genres.
Bill.
Different people are into different things.
yeah, I mean, it's
And you don't need to
Seventh
force
Heaven
someone.
and Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah. So you
Right?
don't need to force someone to watch
See you.
something just because
See what you
whatever.
did
So,
there. It was nice.
yeah.
Can I ask you guys, what did your parents say?
My
What did your parents say, Asif?
Did they watch it?
Yeah.
They
Yeah, yeah,
did?
yeah. My parents saw it. Yeah.
My parents
Yeah?
watched it. Yeah,
They
they
get
loved it. I mean,
my
like,
parents thankfully understand what acting is.
Okay, cool.
finally.
I think a lot of people will see, again, this is so much pressure to put on people. It's like when a white guy's, Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad, he's not going home being like, what does this say for the white community that I'm selling crystal meth? Oh my
Right.
God, what are my parents going to think?
Exactly.
They know, that was a genuine one. Hell yeah, I'm back on the board, baby.
Yeah. You made it.
They look at it like, oh, I'm an actor playing a character in a fictional show.
Yes.
Like, what are we talking about here? So it's like, you need all of it, right? There's going to be some projects that are closer to the idealized, whatever ideal fits whatever you want. And then there's other stories that are not that. And that's what art is. That's what drama is. If you're watching something and it's a perfect person making perfect decisions, that's not a show. That's boring. No one's watching that. You want to see people who are flawed and have problems of various degrees. And I think that's just a progression of the culture. We need to get past this idea of like, this guy playing this thing must be this guy in actual life.
Right.
But that just takes time.
Or carry everyone's responsibility.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm not doing that.
I'm not
and I don't
either.
think any of you should either. That's too heavy. Don't
Yeah, I
do
mean,
that.
we're not a monolith, right?
No,
Like
we're not.
every culture, every single one of us has different flaws.
You're all unique people. Don't put that on yourself.
But make your parents love you. Okay. This was so amazing, everyone. I wish we could take more questions, but we are unfortunately at our time. I want to thank, first of all, again, MPAC Hollywood Bureau for really defying our invisibility, and the Doris Duke Foundation for seeing the vision behind what we're doing.
Yeah.
Please join me in giving a big round of applause to Asif Ali,
Come on.
Huda Ibrahim,
Come on.
Sagar Sheikh. Whatever you do, watch the shows. Let your cat stream the shows.
Yes.
I
Put
think
it on an iPad. Put
you
it
know-
in a drawer.
Put it in a
It's
drawer
fine.
somewhere.
Let it run.
Send it to space. Just watch it.
And hopefully next time one of or many of you will be here instead of us.
Yes.
and
We would
share
love
it
that.
on social media.
Yes.
Tell your
Please.
friends.
Yes.
We need eyeballs, guys. That's what
Neighbors.
we're fighting for.
School
Yes.
people
Yes.
at work.
Everybody.
Everyone.
Yes. We love you guys. Thank
And we
you so
love
much
Hulu.
for coming
Bye-bye,
out.
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, South by Southwest. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, one person standing
Thank
up.
you,
We love
Sarah.
that.